Hello everyone, welcome to Practical Bug Bounty Hunting Tips. I am Hemakumar, a bug bounty hunter. I do have around 7 years of web pen testing experience, and also I am doing bug hunting from past 2 years. So here is my Twitter handle at the rate Hemant1261. So let's get to the agenda. So there are a lot of tutorials or a lot of videos which will explain about the recon tools and about the vulnerability definitions and all. But I feel like there are very less videos are there where it focuses more on the scenario based, which I'm trying to explain all the vulnerabilities in this series in a scenario based from basic to advanced. So currently in this video, we will focus more on the recon tools in a very high level. I don't want to go in deep because there is a video which I already made especially for recon. Yeah. In this slide, in the recon tools which we are planning to cover today, so let's discuss about the subdomain enumeration. I don't want to go in detail because a lot of videos are there which will explain about the tools which I'm talking about. I just want to cover recon as a high level. Okay. So with respect to recon, when you're doing bug bounty hunting, I strongly recommend to stick to only a set of tools. You might get a lot of different tools which were created by different bug bounty hunters, on a daily basis. Tomorrow you might get one more tool, and day after tomorrow you might get one more tool, right? So what we are doing, we are taking all those tools and we are getting confused. Especially even it happened to me, like I got stuck on the recon way where I tried all the tools which are available, and then new tools are coming up. I don't know, it's not stopping. So I really need to have a good tool which I need to have some methodology, which I don't want to go deviate from that methodology. Maybe you can add up for your methodology, like any some very good tool, and you can compare that tool with your tool and see is there any difference. And yeah, if that tool is doing great, then replace that tool with your tool, right? So I would recommend AMAS tool both for passive and active subdomain enumeration. Uh, you can do everything using the single tool. Just believe me, okay? You can try if you have a ASN number, you can try doing it using ASN. If you have a org name, you can try doing it using org name. If you have a CID or IP range, you can do it using IP range. There are different options here there. Let me show you quickly. So here you have different Intel enumeration which track DB DNS. So as again, I don't want to go in detail. If you go for emas enum-h, and you will see in enumeration you will have different parameters which you can set. Okay. Next, using Google Dorking, so we can identify a lot of subdomains, interesting subdomains using Google Dorking, which is very secret. It's not a secret, but it's a kind of very impressive. We need to understand how we need to efficiently use to identify the subdomains using Google Dorking. Let's try few. Let me open my browser. Okay, let me try site. Let's say paytm.com, right? If you give paytm.com, click on enter, you will see different search results with Paytm, business.paytm. This is one subdomain. Okay, uh, paytmmall.com, right? So you have, if you go to navigate to different pages, you will see different subdomains. If you don't want to, if you want to get rid of different subdomains, right, you can try out, right? Here using developer.paytm.com, you go here, open this link. If you see any interesting stuff, then that's fine. If not, then you can just put that as a minus and developer and click on enter, then you will not get that developer from the latest list. So you can drill down like this, and you can go to the next pages and see any interesting subdomains are there. So did I give one space? It doesn't matter. Okay, this is one way of docking. Okay, if you want to uh, get some kind of file type, let's say file type PDF. If you want to search for PDF, you can get all the PDF formats related stuff. If you are looking for text file, okay, you got only one text file, which is a robot text file. Okay, we don't know how much sensitive information that we'll get, so it's always good to try different Google Docs. Let's say, let me try XLS. Okay, nothing is there. CSV, nothing is there. Let's try log. Okay, so likewise, so these are some examples. You can try like in URL. Okay, you can try any register. Okay, there are some register for different domains, account.ptm.com, you know, community.ptm.com. Maybe these are all same pages, or it might be different pages, you know, that we need to validate, right? So there is a second page as well, dashing.ptm.com. You can try it out, right? Instead of register, you can give, maybe is there any sign up? Register and sign up are same, but I'm trying to curious to see. Food wallet sign up is there. Is there any login? Okay, there are some login portals which you got, right? So likewise, these are some examples which you can try. Okay, coming to next, there are some public sites also where we can try few examples in the open source websites. Let's say if you're trying for some sample domain, let's say Walmart, right? So here you can try like codeshare.io. This is one of kind of public platform. So if you get in something interesting, right? If someone has shared something in that codeshare.io, and if you're trying to search that using walmart.com by just putting in the double quotes, right? There might be chances. Not every time we are lucky, but sometimes we are lucky. So we can also try on one of the sites called sharecode.io. Let's try this. Okay, we didn't got anything. And also there is one more. Let me show you few, and then you can go to next one. Okay, Pastebin we got few. So there might be few other users who might work around Walmart.com, and he should have created some subdomains in this. They have created a page in Pastebin and they have put it openly for public, right? So we don't know, some information might be sensitive, right? So we need to be make sure. Right here, this is one thing we can see here. Walmart, some functions, some headers, some requests are there. If there's a post request, maybe this guy should have done on some bug bounty hunting on Walmart and should have created this, and this is a public one. So we never know some sensitive information, because in one of my private program I got some username and password, which, but it's not a valid bug though, because that's kind of we cannot exploit those. Let me show you a few. Okay, this is with creation on reusable plastic. Okay, some kind of an article. Okay, this is just an example. There is repl.it. Let's try that out. These are some sites. I will put this in the description, which you can try it out for some sensitive information. You might find out some domains or subdomains which might be interesting, so you can try for that as well. So this is a glitter.im and using some Walmart related stuff here. Okay, you can try in Bitbucket, where you can see some sensitive code or some sensitive functions, right? Some IPA access tokens and all. Bitbucket. Is there anything related to Walmart here? You will get some noise though. You can ignore it. Okay, you can try it in Atlassian.net. Okay, where you will get all some Jira related stuff, any interesting stuff. Let's go ptm.com. Host build.atlassian.net, some pages. Okay, cat knock. Okay, I don't want to go in deep. as this is just a recon. You can try site gitlab.com. Maybe you can try to give some key if you found any key while doing burp, and if you found some keys, and you can try here and see whether you got any key relevant in GitLab. Okay, there are few more are there. Y Combinator, Trello, PayPal, Google, right? So I'll put down that list in the description for you. Next, coming to Shodan. So using Shodan, you can also try to get some very useful information. Try to get some access to web servers, and you know it's a kind of internet search engine where you will have a lot of servers, routers, or webcams which are connected to internet, right? So those can be searched using Shodan. So let me show you quickly. Let me open Shodan if I have, yeah, okay. So let's say if I want to search for Netflix, okay, you can give org and you can search for it by just giving Netflix, and you will get some results like 12,483 results are there. You might see some results like forbidden, you know, some IPs forbidden, you know, maybe you can simply give a space and give 200 okay, and you can drill down the results to whichever we're getting the response of 200. It's always interesting to see the 403 status and 404, but if you don't have time, or if you want to just stick to 200 responses, then we can just, you know, out of 12,000 we reduce it to 4,950, which were located in different countries: UK, US, Germany, Brazil, France, and more. And you have different ports like, you know, 44380, 2323, 8080, 554. So 554 is something interesting, 8080. And you know, the top organizations, the products that the web service it is using Apache, Nginx, right? So let's say if I open one of the link, right, it will just give this error. Okay, where is the continue option? Is it missing here? Let me open one more. Okay, it's taking time. Let me miss. Okay, something is wrong. Let me open some site. Okay. Okay. So here, if you want to know the IP, right, you can resolve this IP to a domain by using some lot of online resolver tools are there, and you can take it from there. So you will get some very good subdomains if you're interested. You need to have some patience. Okay, you need to go one by one. And you need to look into like what certificate it is, right? So here it says organization Netflix. So you can try Google as well. And you can also search with SSL certificates if you want to grab, right? Let's say usually let me try with SSL instead of Google. Yeah, I will give Google INC. I'm sorry, INC. It's a organization name. So here you got 32 results here. If you see the organization, so we are searching the results using Google INC. So likewise you can search for different SSL certificates, and you can see some interesting subdomains which we might not get it from a normal subdomain enumeration. Next, coming to GitHub docking. So by using GitHub docking also, you will find some interesting subdomains in the GitHub docking. I don't want to give a demo because there are a lot of resources out there. If you want, I will point out to the right resources. And so once we get all the subdomains, usually we will check for the live domains, that we will use it for using a tool called HTTPX, which we might see in a lot of videos, which I will point out some resources. And so that once we're done with that, right, usually we will do a directed brute forcing if you're finding some interesting subdomain. So for that I use only one tool called ff, which is for brute forcing. So here is a command, simple command which we can use. So hyphen u for url, and this is the url.com slash, we need to put a parameter called fetch, and hyphen w is the whole list, and we will give threads of 50, right? So going to the next one, right? So for GitHub darkening, I use a tool called GitDark, which is a very good tool. So here QF is nothing but a query file, the list of domains that you want to give or the path, and -d is nothing but all the darks that it want to go through. Okay, and the TF is nothing but the tokens files, like you create a GitHub and you need to create a token as well, and you put that token, this is token files. It's always good to have 3 to 4 tokens for different accounts it can be, right? And so it will always be indexed RI, right? The RI means it will get latest index files, and you can try to get some subdomains or some sensitive information, anything like that. So once we do all this, once we get all subdomains and all, right, for anything, right? So once we got all the live domains, once we done the brute forcing of some interesting subdomains, right? So next what you can try for is you can try to see grep for all the JS files and of all the subdomains, live subdomains, and you can grep for some endpoints, right? And you can run that endpoints on all other subdomains and see is there any success that you're getting back with the response, right? And also you can create a whole list just by gripping all the common generated OLEs just by using this tool, which is JSF scan. You can get JS files, endpoints, OLEs, everything by just using this simple tool. This is a very good tool. I would recommend you to use it. Don't, it's up to you. So this is one thing which I'm using right now. So this is very useful. You can analyze the JS files, and you can also using diff or some automation stuff you can do, and you can identify the differences of the JS files and look for the functions and see any vulnerabilities which we can try, right? And also same case with endpoints. Is there any interesting endpoints, API, V1, like that? And then you can dig it from there. Next, if you're having any API endpoints or API related subdomains, then so Kite-Runner is a very good tool which you can go for. Uh, you can also do some path fudging. The good thing about this Kite-Runner tool is it will not go to one single path and all. It will have some predefined paths which will define in routes -large.kite, which you can download it from the SetNode website. It will reiterate, it will do recursively. Let's say you got some API slash, then it will go and till the API, and then you will try recursively again. It will brute force everything again. So that's the best part about the Kite-Runner. Instead of simple paths, it will try it's simple single endpoint. It will try for all path fetching, complete path. That's a very good point about the Kite-Runner. So that's it, guys. So what I will do is, as I said, right, I will try to explain the scenarios, which I said, like approaches to attack all the vulnerabilities from basic to advanced. I will start with the basic, but I will go to advanced level as much as I know. If I'm not knowing it, I will try to learn it for you, and I will try to explain it. It will be profit for you and me, because it's always good whatever I'm learning, right? It's always good to explain in a video format. If I'm missing something, then I can correct myself. So that's what I believe in, right? So I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching this video.